Visit Pokemon Card Market and buy Pokemon cards from base set up to latest evolution set with best prices, secured system and easy handling. Only for European players. How's it going, guys? Once again, welcome back to Pokemon TCG Center. In today's video, we'll be looking at the deck for the Legacy format, and this is going to be Flygon, Accelgor and Dusknoir deck in the expanded format. So first of all, I want to say that in the Legacy format you can also play item lock decks with the Vileplume, but if you play Vileplume, then you're also not going to be able to play item cards. So basically, Accelgor will be pretty good and pretty strong non-EX deck if we are not going to count Mew, for example. So I'm running 20 Pokemons, a high amount of the Pokemons, 36 training cards and only 4 energies. Yes, only 4 energies, so there's no cards that can actually prevent you from attaching special energies, so that's the reason why you don't need to worry. No Giratina Chaos Wheel. The main strategy of the deck, of course, is going to be to use deck and cover, attack for 50, put Paralyze and Poison marker to your opponent active Pokemon. After deck and cover, promote your Flygon in the active position, so simply after that you can use Sand Slammer, and at any time between turns, if Flygon is in the active position, he's going to put 1 damage counter to all of your opponent Pokemons in play. And in the mid or late game, with the Dusknoir Synthesizer hand, you can simply move damage counters from one to other Pokemon and take those knockouts clearly without many problems. Mew is, of course, a backup attacker who can copy any attack in play, but of course he's here just to use that deck and cover instead of the Accelgor. Overall, the deck is pretty powerful. It can win anything in the Legacy, except for probably Virizion Genesect, because Virizion ability will prevent any Pokemon with Grass Energy from the special conditions. So we can simply hit only for 50 and promote Flygon in the active position and use that Sand Slammer, but that's going to be it. The possible Pokemon tag card for this deck is definitely going to be Mr. Mime, because Mr. Mime, I didn't play Mr. Mime in today's video, but Mr. Mime is definitely good because with the Mr. Mime you can block 2 different Pokemons from sniping your bench. The first one is going to be Darkrai, of course, with the Night Spear, and the second one is going to be Genesect, because Genesect can also snipe for 20 on one of your bench Pokemons, and that's pretty important because simply attacking twice to your bench, he can get probably double knockout against Flygon and something like a Accelgor in single turn. Item cards. 1 Computer Search Ace Pack, no doubt about it. 1 Escape Rope, just because flipping hands on the catcher sometimes might not be good, so Escape Rope makes a lot of sense, but also Mirror Match can help a lot. 4 Hypnotoxic Lasers for extra damage counters. Always good to have Hypnotoxic Lasers. Well, even after our opponent Pokemon is going to be paralyzed and poisoned, we can still use the advantage of Hypnotoxic Laser. But for example, you can substitute Hypnotoxic Lasers for Crushing Hammers, because Crushing Hammers are also in the Legacy format. 4 copies of Junk Harms, 4 copies of Level Balls, 2 copies of Level Balls actually, so we can search deck for 90 or less HP Pokemon, 1 copy of Pokemon Catcher, so we can simply flip a coin, and if we get lucky on the heads, we can switch one of our opponent benches with active Pokemon, 4 copies of Rare Candies, 1 copy of Super Rod, 1 copy of Tool Scrapper to remove those tools, pretty strong against Garbodor, 4 Ultra Balls, of course, and then the trainer stadium decision was Tropical Beach, just because we really need Tropical Beach to be able to set up, and I also like the Psyduck in the background. 2 copies of N for the draw support, same as 2 copies of Professor Oak's New Theory and 4 Professor Junipers, because we don't have VA Seeker, we can't play supporter cards from the discard pile with the VA Seeker, so we can simply need to have physically a supporter card in our hand in order to play it. 1 Skyla is here just because it's a good card and it can simply allow me to drop any trainer card from my deck into my hand. 2 copies of Float Stones and 4 copies of Double Course Energies. As I mentioned it earlier, to have better, stronger matchup against Virizion Genesect, you can simply remove Hypnotoxic Lasers and also add 4 copies of Crushing Hammers, and that can help a lot, trust me, because with Crushing Hammers and Junk Harms and Exeggcutes, we can have up to 8 Crushing Hammers in theory, 8 energy discarding from our opponent Pokemon in play, but also loss removals, for example, can be good to as well. So if you're looking for any of these cards, check tcgcastle.com. Link is in the description. TCG Center 5 code will also provide you 5% discount on your purchase. So let's do one game test to see how this deck performs in action. So see you in the game. Okay, so opening hand looks pretty good. There are 2 copies of Shelmet, 1 Duskull, Hypnotoxic Laser, Junk Arm, and Tropical Beach. So cannot complain against that. Not at all. I mean, I can have Tropical Beach for like a 7. Oh, there's a Sableye on the other side, and the Darkrai. Playing against Darkrai with this deck, I can feel comfortable as long as there's not going to be a Keldeo inside, because Keldeo Rush in Retreat can simply destroy my Paralyze and Poison effect from the Accelgor. So there is one Hypnotoxic Laser. My opponent already putting some pressure to my Accelgor, to my Shelmet. I'm going to take 10 damage counters, and that's going to be pretty much it. Pretty good top deck. Of course, I'm gonna play my Tropical Beach for up to 7. Okay, so damn, Sableye managed to wake up. Alright, alright. There is Ultra Ball, also and sitting in my hand. Oh, he decided to play Pokemon Catcher. So I'm gonna need Float Stone and Juniper. Interesting. I'm gonna definitely need... Well, I hope there's not gonna be a Dark Patch, an Energy... Oh, just a Hypnotoxic Laser, okay. I'm gonna need Float Stone so I can simply escape from the active position with my Dusknoir because I have Rare Candy. If there's not gonna be a single damage counter from my opponent, except for the Laser, I'm gonna be more than happy. So there's one Junk Arm. Speaking about Junk Arm, he can grab something like a Level Ball, of course, or Escape Rope, even Hypnotoxic Laser, Pokemon Catcher, whatever he wants. Unfortunately, with the Junk Arm, you cannot grab... Oh no. No, will there be a knockout? I hope it's not gonna be a knockout. There's a Smurgle. Nah, it's gonna be N. No way it's gonna be N. But okay, I'm not gonna be knocked out at least. Maybe he can even draw... oh yeah, so he decided to go with the Portrait. Okay, so he's definitely gonna need Switch or... I don't know, Switch definitely, Escape Rope can help. Oh, good! There's another Rare Candy sitting in my hand, so I also have Skyla, which is pretty badass. I'm happy to see that. I'm definitely happy to see that. So what else he can do? Maybe Tropical Beach at the end? One thing is for sure. There is one more Junk Arm, and that's a Junk Arm number 2. And that's very important because I simply need to limit his supplies, so he can't use that Pokemon Catcher again. And he decided to pick another Pokemon Catcher. Alright, and second energy attached to that Absol. And I'm taking 10 damage counters. I didn't wake up, which is not a big deal. I have the Rare Candy. I have the access to my Dusknoir. So I'm gonna play my Hypnotoxic Laser. It's successful, so I'm gonna use the Level Ball. It's gonna be for Trapinch. Then I'm gonna use my Skyla, of course, so I can simply escape from the active spot with my Dusknoir. It's very important at this moment. And I'm gonna escape down to my Shelmet with 20 damage counters. And after that, I'm just running supplies up to 7. He managed to wake up. Well, that's bad. With that Pokemon Catcher sitting in his hand, he had access maybe to knock out against my Dusknoir. So hopefully it's gonna be Tails. Ah, no, it's a Has, so it's gonna be Knockout. But of course he first needs to get Energy or Float Stone. Dang, my Dusknoir looks like gonna be knocked out. Okay, never mind. Never mind. As long as I can pull something like maybe, let's say Ultra Ball top deck. So I can grab Ultra Ball for something like Flygon. Probably that's not gonna happen. Well, it's Mew-EX as top deck. Okay, so there's another Trapinch. I mean, is it worth to play that Junk Arm for something like Duskull this turn? I think it's not. Just deck and cover. That's gonna be it. Putting my Mew in the front, Absol is paralyzed and poisoned. I also have 2 copies of Hypnotoxic Laser sitting in my hand, so that's gonna be something. Oh no, there's a gold potion. What the heck? That gold potion was so broken. There's also Skyla, so it might be for Escape Rope. It might not be for Escape Rope, and it's for the Junk Arm. What can he get with the Junk Arm right now? Yeah, he has Escape Rope sitting in his discard pile. Alright. That's the Junk Arm number 3. Means that he only had 1 more Junk Arm left. And there's Ultra Ball. He didn't decide to grab the Escape Rope. He can just go for something like a Keldeo, even better. Put it down to the bench, of course, attach energy, and he can have that stand-in retreat. Whew, that's bad. That's very bad. I still didn't set up, at least, Mind Jack and go for something like 80 with the Dark Globe for 100. It's not gonna be enough for the one-hit knockout, but still 100 damage on my Mew. It's not something for ignore. One Hypnotoxic Laser. I know it's not gonna be effective. I know that. What can I do? I could maybe copy Junk Arm, for example. But why would I do that? On the other side... I'm gonna just attach double course energy to my Shelmet and draw cards with my Tropical Beach until I have 7. He didn't wakes up, but hey, he can still use the Rush-in Retreat for 2 prize knockouts. That's gonna hurt a lot, so there's 1 N. It's also gonna hurt if he can find something like Lost Removal or even verse another Junk Arm for the Lost Removal, so I'm also gonna lose 1 of my double course energies, and there's a Vermixity Gym. So, speaking about that, also 1 Dark Patch for Dark Ray. Manual energy from hand, Rush in of course, and it's gonna be knockout against my Mew. Okay, no problem. He's down to 3 prize cards. It's time for my... let me see. Ultra Ball, so I can get in play 1 Accelgor. And then I'm gonna play my Professor Zo's New Theory. There is also 1 Level Ball. It's gonna be for Duskull. Unfortunately, no sign of the Rare Candy, so Flygon still cannot be activated. And that's pretty bad. That's pretty damn bad. At least I can play my Super Rod. Reshuffle a couple of resources back. Put another Accelgor in play. I can even attach DC, but I really don't want to do it. So deck and cover for 50. He's going to take 3 more damage counters from the Verbex Energy. But unfortunately, I don't have Flygon. If there was a Flygon, his Absol right now would be knocked out, and that would be just a perfect scenario for me. But unfortunately, it's not going to be. At least next turn, I can simply knock out his Absol with my Mew, but even better, I can maybe even knock it out with something else. Oh, there we go with the end. So he's decided to end himself down to 3. I'm gonna draw 6 cards. I'm looking for something like a Pokemon Catcher, definitely. But I'm gonna need something bigger and better. I'm gonna need that Ultra Ball for the Flygon, and also Pokemon Catcher is pretty good in this situation. So Absol, another Mind Jack for the knockout, and you can guess what it's going to be promoted in the anchor spot. Of course, it's going to be Trapinch. There's another Duskull, and 1 junk card for 1 Accelgor, and for 1 Pokemon Catcher. I shouldn't do that. Alright, never mind. Propagation. And I will finally have my first Flygon in play after tons of turns. After like 7 or 8 turns, finally Flygon entering the play and spreading the damage around the board. So it's more than enough for the knockout. Those 10 damage counters was big, so just a Float Stone for me. Nah, that's not good. As long as there's Keldeo, I don't have chance. I simply don't have chance. Because that Darkrai will simply take 2 price knockout sooner or later. So, another Dark Patch for the Sableye, and Professor Juniper for 7. So he's going down to 3 prizes, the 3 cards. There's also Hypnotoxic Laser, so I'm gonna take like 3 more damage counters from the poison, which means this is gonna be like 120. Still I can escape with my Float Stone, but I'm gonna need something good as a top deck. Alright. Oh, 3 damage counters to my Mew-EX. Interesting. Theoretically, I can maybe even perform enough for the knockout against his Darkrai in this position. But for that, I'm gonna need something like Dusknoir, of course. So first I need to see if I even have Dusknoir left in my deck. Yes, I do have. Alright. So let's go with the Exeggcute Propagation. I might recover from nowhere in a winning position. Alright, so I need Rare Candy. So he's gonna take 2, 4, 6, 9, 12. Alright, so I'm gonna have more than enough. Alright, 40 and 50 from the Accelgor. That's gonna be... Actually, let's say I'm gonna attack him with the Mew. So he's gonna take 6 damage counters because he have resistance -20. So he needs 120 damage counters. There's exactly enough 120 damage counters in play to knock out that Dark Ray. And of course, he's also going to take 10 damage counters from the Flygon. Okay, so deck and cover can goes for 50, so that's gonna be enough for the knockout. I'm promoting in the active position, of course, my Flygon. And all his Pokemons in play are going to take 10 more damage counters. I'm taking 2 prize cards, it's a Shelmet and another N. Okay, so from nowhere I actually managed to recover, and he still needs to pull 2 prize cards, and that's not going to be that easy. If he wants to knock out my Flygon, he's definitely going to need something like a Dark Glove. Of course, with the Junk Arm, he can simply grab himself a Dark Glove. Even better, he can try to power up his Dark Ray, and that's just going to be a Junk Hunt. So speaking about Junk Hunt, I can end him down, so it's not going to be a big problem for me. Okay, Dark Patch and Escape Rope. 10 damage counters to everyone. I need 3 prize cards to pull, so... Alright, let's see. Let it be 1 propagation first. Then I'm gonna play Ultra Ball, which is gonna be for Exeggcute and Shelmet. Of course, I want to get out some of the resources from my hand. Then I'm gonna put my Accelgor on the bench. Then I'm gonna end my opponent down to 2 cards. And I'm also gonna grab that double course energy, which is pretty important in this situation. So I can take the risk with the Junk Arm, grabbing my Pokemon Catcher and maybe winning this game here right now. But since he have it Keldeo, that's gonna be a little bit problematically. So let's just grab Propagation. Let's try to hit that heads on that Pokemon Catcher if it's somehow possible. Unfortunately, it's not. Alright, so Synthesizer hand. I'm going to put as many damage counters as I can to his Dark Ray on the bench, or even better... No, I just need to knock out actually those Sableyes. Sableyes are actually the biggest concern right now. And I can actually pull 2 prize knockouts this turn. So it's a deck and cover, which means I'm knocking out his Sableye, I'm also knocking out his benched Sableye, and I'm taking 2 prize knockout. Which means that next turn I can simply Synthesizer hand and knock out his Smirgle on the bench. So that's it. So if he simply cannot knock out my Dusknoir somehow, that's gonna be GG. Since he already played all 4 copies of Junkarm, actually he played 3 copies of Junkarm, so he can still get 1. In theory, he can win. And that's a portrait. It's going to be for Professor Oak's new theory, of course. Draw 6 cards. I wish there was no Professor Oak's new theory in my hand, because right now he can simply maybe get that access to the Pokemon Catcher and win the game. Hopefully that's not going to be the case. There's Escape Rope. No way! No way. So he get that Escape Rope. And simply he can drop 2 prize knockout right now against any of my Pokemon in play. Any of my Pokemon in play. Yep. It's... The Keldeo is MVP definitely in this match. Because he simply allowed my opponent to rush in and retreat, and he was able to basically avoid that paralyze from my Accelgor, and in the end that actually brings victory for my opponent. Unfortunately, I didn't play the card like a Mr. Mime, so I was not able to prevent my opponent Darkrai for sniping my bench. But overall, I'm more than happy always playing Legacy, because it's always interesting to watch and play, especially with a funny deck like Flygon, Accelgor, and Dusknoir. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the video for more, and subscribe to the channel for more videos. Let me know what you think about this deck in the comments below. So stay tuned for the more upcoming videos. Have a nice day till the next time. See you in the next video, and goodbye.